Clean up in the dairy aisle. Suckled Brats 7. Lactation Erotica, Breeding Erotica, BDSM Erotica. Written by Millie King. Narrated by Edie Olliver. Clean up in the dairy aisle. Suckled Brats 7. I'd worked in Mr. Portland's store for a couple of years, but honestly, I hated it. I hated the feeling that I was destined to stay there forever. I took night classes to try and plan my way out of there, but it made the following day at work hell. It was so hard to concentrate on so little sleep. He ran the store like a damn SS officer too, and was known for being strict. He was always way stricter with me though. He said he had to set an example to the staff, and for some reason, I was that example. It was just another Tuesday when things turned crazy. I'd had the worst night's sleep ever and was bleary-eyed and tired. I was stocking the milk aisle and filling the shelves. It was mindless stuff, and I was kind of minding my own business and daydreaming. I'd totally forgotten Mr. Portland's rule of not fully filling the shelves. They weren't built to take the weight of all the milk, so he had us face up the milk at the front of the shelves and leave a void behind it. Because of that, it needed extra attention throughout the day because it emptied faster. And milk isn't light, you know. After a while, your arms really start to ache, but Mr. Portland would never hear it. He was a big, strong man after all, right? Anyway, his stupid rule had slipped my mind. I didn't even notice the shelf begin to sag in the middle. I just kept tossing on these huge gallons of milk. It wasn't until a bolt popped and shot across the aisle that I realized what I'd done. One of the customers backed away from the creaking metal and left the aisle in a hurry. I was frozen on the spot. Everything seemed to go in slow motion. The gallon jugs cascaded to the floor one by one at first. They hit with a splat and milk leapt out, covering the lower part of my pants. I backed up into the shelves of cream opposite, and they started to rain down behind me too. I didn't know where to look. It was like the fucking elevator scene in The Shining, only instead of blood there was a river of milk flooding the store. The jugs and cartons fell to the hard floor and exploded open. I was absolutely covered, and so was everything else in the aisle. It started to flow out into the store, and I heard murmurings of people elsewhere in the shop as their feet became wet with milk. My friend Ellen came to the end of the aisle and looked down it in horror. I stared at her from my spot against the shelves. My foot slipped and I stumbled back even further. I wound up with my ass sat in the milk and heavy cream raining down around me. Ellen put her hand over her mouth and her look of shock turned into a shrieking laugh. "Clean up in the dairy aisle," she giggled. She looked to her right and her expression dropped quickly. She hurried out of view and she was replaced with Mr. Portland, who strode into shot at the end of the aisle. He stood stern, his hands on his hips. He tapped his foot into the wet milk and looked down as it spread out beyond him.
"Are you okay?"
he asked, but there was little concern in his voice. "I'm okay," I told him. He left me there for the moment. I heard his voice on the PA system overhead.
"Ladies and gentlemen, the store is closed for the next few hours due to an incident in the dairy aisle. Apologies for the inconvenience. Please make your way to the checkout." I got up steadily from the floor and shook out my hands. Shit, I didn't even know where to start with this. Ellen brought a mop and a bucket to the end of the aisle, but she was still in giggling fits of laughter that flared up as more gallons of milk dropped from the shelves. "Not helping, Ellen," I told her. "You're in trouble?" "No shit." "What happened?" "The milk fell, Ellen. What the fuck does it look like?" She laughed again and left me on my own in the aisle. I stepped carefully towards the mop and ran the head of it over the floor. I twisted it into the bucket and squeezed out some milk. It was immediately about a quarter full, but the store was still about a centimeter deep in dairy. About 10 minutes passed and Mr. Portland finally returned. "I've sent everyone home,"
he said. "Sorry, Mr. Portland, but the shelf, it just—"
"Did you overfill it?"
I paused just long enough for him to know that what I was about to say was a lie. "No."
"Don't give me that shit, Clara. Look."
He pointed to the countless busted jugs and cartons.
"That's way more than we
Sample complete. Ready to continue?